Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. So with today's update, the first of the Italian tank destroyers has arrived, and that is the Tier 8 Premium Italian TD, the Vipera. And it's just come out today, and I've managed to get some replays for you so you can see what this tank is about and whether it's something you're interested in. So just before I get on to the gameplay, I'm just going to briefly explain the tank. So it's an Italian tank destroyer which has a 5-shot autoloader with 400 alpha per shot. It's got around about a 30-second reload, but then it's got an interclip of about sort of 5 seconds between, roughly between each shot. Now, it's actually really nice, and having that sort of sustained damage. I guess what it's really about is having that sustained damage, and then you go on to your reload. So sort of keeping the enemy guessing, like, are you on reload? Are you not on reload? Can they push? They don't know, because you're going to get that sort of 2,000, clip potential in. As far as armor goes, this has actually got some fantastic armor. So it's very good hold down with its 10 degrees of gun depression, and the front armor, when you're facing like equal tier, you're going to be able to bounce a lot of the shots. The actual weak point when you're facing this tank frontally is the very lower plate, but it's not easy to shoot that. You have to actually shoot right at the lower part. Obviously, if you come against tier 10s, this massive heat pen, then they're just going to be able to go through you. But tier to tier, the armor can be very effective. It's got a semi-rotational turret, so you can't rotate all the way, and it's not particularly quick. But what it also has, along with that armor, it actually has fantastic camo rating as well, so you can be very stealthy, as well. So as far as equipment goes, the tank is the aim time in the tank is not very good. So I actually run the advanced gun laying drive, along with optics to increase my view range, and then I put the camo concealment as well, just to maximize that camo. So when you are fighting in a heavily tiered 10 game, you don't have to brawl. This tank can be good at brawling, but you can also just use your camo value, because usually you're fighting those tier 10s and they're going to have some crazy pen values, and your armor's not going to count for much against those, but you do at least have that camo value you can use instead. So that's enough of me rambling on. I think it's easier for me to just get into the replays and we can see what this tank can do. Okay, so here we are for the first replay. Now what I've got for you today, I've got 2 of my more sort of average games, and then we finish up on a really nice game for a tier 8 tank. So the first map we've got today, we're on Ellenberg. Now this, funny enough, was actually the first game we had in this tank. And initially I'm going to push to sort of the castle area, because like I say, this tank's not particularly quick. I didn't feel like it was possible for me to push to the other side, especially with there being a fun police in the game. That wasn't going to be ideal. Now, as far as fun police goes, your roof and your top of your tank, you've got quite a big engine deck. You are quite a big target actually for the fun police, because they can pen you. You don't have a lot of armor on the top of the turret. Like frontally, this tank's very strong, but when you're shooting up, on top of it, it's not the best. So as you can see, this tank's not particularly quick, and it does have a very big aim time. Now that's why I run the gun lane drive, but in this particular video, it was the first replay I had on, I haven't got the gun lane drive on. I've actually got vents, because I was just trying out the different equipment to find out which I thought best, and in the end I've settled on the gun lane drive, the camo net, and the optics, just to maximise that camo rating, because like when you are fighting the tier 10 tanks with a big pen, you can't always play as aggressive as you would like to, but it just gives you the option that you can play the other way, and you can play as a more stealthy tank destroyer, because it does have good camo rating as well. So you can do both of those, and the concealment does really help just to get those 5 shots out. So we pushed this side at the start. We spotted a few tanks coming in, and we're just going to wait to see if we get any opportunity on any tanks crossing like this, potentially this Lover there, which we can catch out. Unfortunately, we don't pen that one. I think we do have like 262 penetration, but we needed to really shoot 264 penetration on the premium rounds, but we really need to be shooting the lower plate of that Lover there. But we do finally get 1 pen in. I think the Lover's tracked in place. We get a second shot in, and we're hoping to get that kill shot in. Like I say, it's got a 6-second interclip, and that's not that bad for your 400 alpha when you've got your 5 clip. And you can, if you catch a few tanks out, you can pick up quite a lot of damage. You know, you've got a 2,000 clip potential then. And so far, you know, from my experience of playing the tank, I have quite enjoyed it. Now, I feel like I've done what I could on this side, and it looks like we've lost the other side of the map. Now, I'm going to start to relocate over to defend my base, because I need to go pretty early, because I don't have the speed to get over there. Now, you could run the equipment to increase your mobility of the tank. That is an option. I opted not to in the end, but just because I feel like the gun lane drive is almost a must on this tank, just to get that aim time down. That's at least my preference, and it does make a difference. You'll see the difference between this first replay and my next replays of the aim time difference. So it's still a very close game, but we won the other side, lost the other side, sorry, and the enemy are coming for a base. So we need to get into a position where we can shoot them. Now, we've got 10 degrees of gun depression, so we're very good on the ridge lines, and we can get to a position where they're, you know, being it's a tier 8 game, they're really going to struggle to pen us. It's only the fun police where we're going to struggle with, if I'm honest. And as well as the fact that we're sitting back here, we're probably not going to get spotted because we do have that good camo rating there. So the ISM's coming out, we get one shot in, and we're hoping to see if we can get another shot in to really punish this tank before we get safe. And we do manage to squeeze the 2 shots in there, dropping 800 into that ISM. We then go for the side of this enemy T-77. Unfortunately, we bounce that shot. Maybe we could aim a little bit better, maybe we got a bit unlucky, but that is what it is. Tiger P gets spotted. We get 1 into the side there, putting us on to 2,000, just over 2,000 damage there. And we're looking to see if we can get any more shots in. We're trying to finish this tank off. We don't roll high enough, but he then gets shut down by our light tank. And that's bringing us back to a bit of a more even game. And I feel like we successfully defended the base at this point, putting us on to 2,500 damage and 1 kill while we go waiting on reload now. And then we're going to see if we can get any more shots in. Just going to be patient at this point, because there is still more tanks pushing, like this, for example, this G-Saw here, and we should have an opportunity just to hopefully dump our clip in, maybe finish this tank off. We get 1 shot in, and then we lose the spot. Maybe I should have gone for the blind fire. I might have hit that, but I saw this Tiger P, and I go for a shot to try and finish that tank off. Unfortunately, we don't aim fantastically, and we bounce that shot there. But we've kind of defended the base at this point, and now we're just waiting to see what to do next. And it's going to take me a while to move to the other side, so I don't want to move too soon if tanks are going to come out. I want to make sure I've got the shots into them where I can do. Just trying to be as patient as possible, because obviously when I get spotted as well, then I am a bit of a danger to the fun police. But I imagine the fun police has probably got other concerns on the other side of the map right now. We are 1 tank down at the moment, but it's still, like I say, it's very much in the balance for this first game, and I'm just waiting and just hoping to see if something's going to just reappear so we can get another shot in, because we know there's that G-Saw there. We just need someone to spot them if possible. The enemy heavy tank has got into the cap. Not too concerned we're going to get capped out, but I've decided, you know what, I'm actually going to relocate now, because the other side is starting to look a little bit worse for wear. And I don't want to get trapped in this position. If possible, I'd like to catch out the enemy team before they cross, so that I can catch them out in the open and get easier damage onto them. Because it's getting to that later stage of the game. They do still have an enemy light tank in the game. As always, I always say, when you get to sort of later stages of the game and the big maps, the light tanks are very key towards your victory, because it's going to be the vision for the enemy team there. So we can take out the light tank. That would be ideal. The light tank does get spotted, and they are on a 1 shot to us, so I was just looking to see if I can get a shot in, but the aim time's so long that you can't really take those quick snapshots. So I'm just going to put myself into a position and hope that some of the friendly team come back with me, because I think it's clear that we've won the other side now, and in my opinion I feel like the rest of the team are probably going to come from this side. That's just my gut feeling. And I'm just going to wait to see if that does happen, because we're having a pretty decent game. Like I say, this was what literally was the very first game I played in this tank today. And yeah, so I'm just obviously trying to learn the tank for myself. But the light tank gets spotted. We're looking to see if we can get a shot in, try and finish him off. And we do, thankfully, we hit that shot. That is a big help to us there, putting us on to just over 3,000 damage and 2 kills. Now that's a vision gone, and at this point I think, you know what, which could end up being a mistake if I'm honest, but I decided to take a little bit of a gamble, but now the vision is dead on the enemy team, and I was going to try and push forward to the ridge where I can get a hold down, try and spot the enemy team, try and be the vision for our team. The problem I've got is if I do get spotted, I'm going to be in the open, and they've still got an enemy fun police left. If it wasn't for the fun police, then this wouldn't be as much of a risk, but I am taking a risk here, but I'm trying to push to see if I can get that bigger game, and I want to try and get hold down before the enemy team pushes up, and then if I get there before, then I'm going to spot them in the open. Unfortunately for me, the other enemy TD had the same idea, and he has pushed up. Now this is a problem, because I'm not too concerned about this tank penning me, because I'm going to be able to get hold down. That's not my real concern here. You see I am bouncing shots because you've got to shoot at the very lower plate of this tank. And you want to be completely square onto the enemy, basically, because if you overextend either side, then they're able to pen sort of the side. There is a weak cheek you can pen. The problem I've really got is he's just detecting me, and that's keeping me spotted for the enemy fun police, and he's just got 3 shots on me. Trying to get some shots to Sturm Tiger. The fun police does hit me. But I've got 2 more shots, and hoping to see if we can potentially finish off this Sturm Tiger if possible and take out one of the enemy TDs. We get 1 shot in blind, and we're just looking to see if we can get the finish. Unfortunately, I went for the Capola here, but it's so small that yes, it's technically possible that I could pen there, but it's also very unlikely. And as you see, I'm just getting absolutely blitzed by the artillery at this point. I really need someone to take out this tank destroyer, because with that tank destroyer there, he's the one that's getting us killed, and I think it's turning out to look like a bit of a mistake really on my part for doing this. But it was one of them risk to rewards moments where I think it could end up going really well for us. It might not, but as it stood, I'm just now in a really tricky situation. The second this TD pokes a ridge, he's going to spot us again. We're probably going to die to the enemy fun police. And then actually don't die to fun police, but we do get splashed by that Sturm Tiger. And that brings us an end to replay number 1. So I'm just going to get to the end of this replay before we move on to the next replay of the video. Okay, so there we are, finish off the replay number 1, and as you can see, thankfully our team did manage to get us the win there. We end up getting 2 kills, just shy of 4,000 damage and a little bit of assistance. And that pretty much brings us on to replay number 2. So stay with us and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here we are on Redshire for replay number 2. Now this time there is no fun police in the game, but it is a tier 10 lobby, so we're also going to be a little bit more careful with that. But we've decided that we're going to go to the heavy flank, if you like, the sort of more brawling side. Because it's going to be the quickest location we can get to, and we do have decent armour, although we have to be careful, you know, when we're fighting those tier 10 tanks. If someone's got big heat pen, they're going to be able to go through your armour, but it's still very capable. You know, if you are hold down using your gun depression, you know, you can bounce quite a few shots off your turrets. So I've decided that's the location I'm going to go to at the start. It looks like a lot of our team is going this way, so I have got to have it in the back of my mind that it's a possibility we lose the other side. I just hope we don't lose it too quickly, because if we do lose the other side and we're still fighting on this side, it could become a little bit awkward, because if the enemy team push to our base, push round, then they're going to have sort of rear shots onto us. So that's something we have to have in the back of our mind, or in our mindset when we go into this game. But from the start, I'm going to just try and see what damage we can get from this location of the map. So we're making our way over. You see there's a lot of enemy tanks there, and we spot this IS-7 pushing into a position which is going to be very much of a pain if he gets there. We get 1 shot in, but like I say, if he plays this correctly on this ridge, it's going to be awkward for us, because it's going to be pretty much like unpennable for us. At the moment we may have a shot at his lower plate, and we're just waiting for that opportunity. Unfortunately we don't get that one in. We didn't have a big chance, we took the shot, but now he's got like this sort of hold down. From this angle at least, we're not going to be able to deal with it. Maybe you can get shot from the other side of the map, but as you look on the mini map here in the bottom left, they've got their own sort of problems to deal with. So I'm not feeling confident this IS-7 is going to get taken out from this location, unless he starts getting splashed by the HE. If you've got an Avery in the game, that sort of ruins all the positions. But unfortunately, from this angle, we're not able to deal with that I7. So we're going to actually just move from this location, as well as the fact that it looks like we're going to lose the other side. If we do lose the other side, sitting how we was, we're going to get caught out and lose our hit point. So we're going to move around the ridge to see if we can just try and help out our team if we can. We've got 1 pen into this game, but it's going to be a game of patience, if I'm honest, because it's one of those tier 10 lobbies where we could throw our tank away very quickly if we start getting a little bit too impatient, and we're just going to have to see what we can do. We catch this tier 8 heavy out, and we're hoping we'll be able to get a second shot in. Unfortunately, it has got behind the cover now. This E100 was just showing a tiny bit his lower plate. We pulled back in just in a matter of time to block the shot off of that E100 there, and now we should have the finish on this heavy tank, but it gets taken out just before we're able to get our shot away. But we do pick up a bit of the track assistance for it, and now we're going to go on to this reload. We're going to sort of play this rock here on the right, because we can sort of hide all our lower plate and stay somewhat hold down using this rock, because there's a good gun depression of the tank. But we don't have the best shots into these tanks. So it's an E100. I can't. It's unlikely that I'm going to pen this turret face, with the APCR rounds, if I'm honest. And then this Type 5, equally, we're going to have some problems in. Maybe we could pen this cupola, but it's not an ideal fight. I don't want to be brawling these two heavies like this. It's up to our friendly team to get shots in, and if they do poke high enough to expose their weak points, I'll try and track them in place and see if we can then dump our clip. But we have lost the other side of the map. It is still a fairly tight game. We have lost a lot of map control. Our friendly tanks in the base are sort of delaying the enemy attack. And at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? I probably actually now need to start thinking about relocating and actually trying to stop them crossing over, because if the enemy team get in behind us, then that is going to become a problem for us. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to turn. I've realised there's nothing I can do to those heavies there. It's just not a winnable engagement. I need my tier 10 tanks to try and win that. And I'm going to try and stop the enemy team coming from behind us. I think that's the initial plan. But then we spot this heavy, and we thought maybe we can just quickly get a few shots into this if he was over peaking too high. But he's got back into cover, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a shot into that tank. We are getting targeted here. I'm trying to decide if that's from front of us or if it's from our left. We've got to be very careful. It looks like this heavy tank's just about to move, and we're hoping we can quickly get one into the side of his turret. Unfortunately, although it was a pennable shot, it doesn't go true there, and we wasn't able to hit that shot. But now the tanks have pushed around to our base, and I have got to react to this now and try and get to a hold down position on this ridge to stop them pushing across, because I can still go hold down, because obviously because there's no fun police in this game, I can still use this ridge. And as long as the tanks are in front of me, hopefully I should be able to sort of prevent them from crossing there. So I'm looking to try and get some shots in and try and punish this tank destroyer, this IS-7 here. We get one shot into the IS-7 and actually damage their ammo rack. I now want to try and move so I am actually hold down and only exposing my turret armour, and try and deal with these tanks, because we are 2 tanks down, but it's still fairly close. We can get some shots into there. We got one into the IS-7, putting them onto maybe a one shot, getting that shot in blind there. And it's just kind of a patient game now. I can't really move from this position, because if I move, then the team are going to just start collapsing behind us. I need to really just get rid of these tanks, but I also can't push the other side. So I just have got to stay patient. There's a TD on the hill on our right, but I can't over poke to shoot that tank while this IS-7 and this TD's here. But the tank destroyer pushes out the other enemy Vipera, and we do take that out, leaving just the one shot IS-7 on the other side. If that IS-7 makes a mistake and we're able to kill them, then hopefully we can probably lean over and take out this TD on our right. But we need the IS-7 to die first, and I don't want to, like I say, throw my hit points. I'm just waiting for that one shot. If we kill this IS-7, then that's going to be that's the one. We've got a potential shot at the lower plate there, but we're talking about really small, slim shots. but he's only on 100 odd hit points. You know, they are one shot to us if we can kill them, but we have got to get rid of that IS-7 because the rest of the team, we don't know where all of the tank destroyers, you know, remaining are. So if I overpeak too much on this ridge and get caught out by IS-7 and tracked, then I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. You see, I keep sort of turning to just check on what the hit points are of the enemy tanks. We're trying to see if we can just, you know, get a shot in, but the IS-7 is playing very careful. It's making it very, very difficult for us to get any sort of shots, any sort of kill shots in there. But I'm just going to stay patient. You know, if he's going to have to make a play at one point, and then maybe we can catch him out. And you know, if anything else gets spotted, but at this point I don't feel like I have to react. I don't feel I have to force anything. I think the safer play is to play safe. It's still a very, very tight game. It's not often you get the games where they actually end up really tight. Now if his TD does poke too high, we should be able to just quickly get one in, but now this is what I've been waiting for. The IS-7 has actually made the play and he's got spotted on the advance, so this is my opportunity to take out this tank, and thankfully that shot goes in, and that has made our life a lot easier now. Now we know that IS-7 is not here, we can actually poke and we're going to try and get a shot into this tank destroyer. We get one in, putting them onto a one shot. We know where 3 of the tanks are. We know 3 of the tanks are there. They're all sort of directly in front of us, so they don't have a different angle on us. They'll be fighting us frontally, and that's important information to know, and we've brought this back to a 4 versus 4. There's the other tank destroyer in the middle, but he's going to be hulled down and difficult for us to deal with, and the enemy medium, who's on full health, is pushing behind to kill our one-shot type. So I'm going to drop my reload because I need more than 2 shots potentially to kill him if he doesn't lose any hit points, and I'm going to move and hopefully just try and deal with this tank. He does take out our Type 5. You have got to be careful in the situation when you're fighting a medium, because you are quite slow, and if they do get behind you, you obviously don't have a full turret lock, and that could leave you in an awkward situation. So I've just got to make sure I get my reload in and see if we can catch them off guard. And we do catch them off guard. Now this is good. We are full health. We can eat a shot. We're going to wait. We're going to kill this tank now, even if it means we eat a shot. Thankfully, we bounce a shot and we take out that tank, bringing it back to a 3 versus 2. But we're taking out another tier 10 tank. Now we know the other TD, another Viper. We know that's on the one shot as well. We're just going to poke the ridge to see if he's turned to fight our other friendly tank there on the top right hand corner, and see if we can, you know, try and shoot him. He does get detected and spotted, so we're going to poke to see if we get any sort of shots in, but he's hulled down to us, as you can see, and we're not going to be able to penetrate there, so we don't waste fire and giving away our position. We're just going to try and relocate, find a safer angle to try and deal with this tank destroyer if we can. So we're going to move around, get to this side of the ridge, and then hopefully, you know, we may be able to catch him out. We are still full health, so which is very handy at this stage, because we can eat a couple of shots if it means, you know, getting the kill. And as we come around, there's an enemy heavy we wasn't expecting, but he's missed his shots. So we're going to wait, aim, see if we can get one into the lower plate, and we do, confirming the heavy, bring us onto a 2 versus 2 versus an IS-3 and this one-shot tank destroyer. So now I'm actually just going to start to push on this TD, because if I'm able to push on him, take out this TD, it's just the IS-3 left to deal with. And I believe the IS-3 was pretty low, because I think he poked early on the hill. So we got an opportunity to get a shot in. Unfortunately, it doesn't go true there, but he does get taken out by our friendly teammate. And this now leaves us just into a 2 versus 1. We still got a full, you know, health friendly tier 10 medium tank here, and we're versus this IS-3. Now, I'm guessing he's around about this area. I'm just pushing, hoping, to be honest with you, that he had more hit points than I thought, and I'm hoping that I'm going to try and get any last shots in this game. We've had a decent game, but it's been hard to really push and get lots of damage, because we've had to, you know, play quite passive, if you like, in that sort of tier 10 lobby. But we just did what we really needed to do in order to try and give us the best shot of winning that game. But we're just going to wait and just try and catch them out. So our medium tank's going up to the A1 lines. We're clearing out that zone, and I'm just going to keep pushing. It is pretty slow to get across here, and at this point, with the IS-3 does get spotted, and now I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get there, and I don't. And that does bring us an end to replay number 2, but we got the best to last coming up, so let's just see how we got on. We get 4 kills, 3,300 damage, 1,500 assistance. It's only the second class because the masteries at the moment are all off basically, you know, because this was like 1900 XP, which would, you know, some tanks would be an ace or some would be a first, but it's set, you know, unrealistically high until it adjusts at the moment. But that's it for replay number 2, but let's move on to the final replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay here on Korea. It is a top tier game. There is one enemy light tank, one enemy fun police in the game, and this is a game where we do go on and have a really nice game here. So it's the encounter variant, so you don't necessarily have to be worry about being capped out, because the cap circle is bang in the middle of the map and can get shot from multiple angles, especially if you win the hill, then it's going to be unlikely that they're going to be able to cap from there. So we're just going to try and push forward and try and get some damage off. The fun police is probably my biggest concern, because obviously, like I say, the roof of this armour isn't fantastic. There is a few positions we can play and go hold down from this side, but those positions come at risk of getting shot by the enemy fun police. But initially we're just going to push forward and see if anything gets detected, and we may actually, because we do have fantastic camo, so we can potentially sit back a little bit and try and get some early shots in if anything pokes around the corner, and then I was hoping to try and push up to the rock, you know, dead front of us, depending on what the situation is with the hill and whether we win it or not. So like I say, this tiger here is poking around, and we were actually able to get a shot and finish off that tank destroyer. We don't get spotted in return, so we do have camo on this. We have the camo perk and muffle shot. They're the two camo perks we run on this tank, and we do track the tiger in position, and we're hoping we can farm some assistance here. We get a nice one for the lower deck and damage their engine, and then we just, you know, if they peek again, maybe we'll get a shot. That shot was very unlikely to pen, but we went for it anyway. And now we're going to see if we can get any shot into the cupola. Now this tiger is onto one shot, but he's backing off round that corner now, so we decide that we're going to move forward and try and get to the next position I want to be, because I can get to a position where I can be hold down and shoot all these tanks in this position. It's just the threat of the fun police, but we're going to take that risk anyway, and we're going to see if we can try and get some damage in. We're on reload at the moment, so we're just going to wait until that reload's gone in before we poke, just so that when we do get there, we're ready to fire and ready to see if we can catch any tanks out. We're trying to go wide like this, because like I said, we will be hold down, we'll be protecting our lower plate, and we'll have good shots in. So these tanks in front of us, I'm not too concerned. I think they're really going to struggle to penetrate us like this. It's only really the fun police, but at the moment they're not going for us, so we're in a decent position here. We're waiting to see if we can feed one into lower plate of that tiger shot. Like I say, I do have good, I have time because I can't really get pen. There is a mill there, but he's on a one shot to us, so it's something I've got to be aware of. But if he does poke, maybe I can get the finish in. We get a nice shot there, high roll for 408 into the G-saw, and now we've got an opportunity to potentially finish off this tiger if he just peeks a little bit further, and we do, and we finish him off. There's another Viper there in the corners you see on the map. Frontally I'm going to struggle to pen at this distance, but I'm going to just wait and see. You know, we've won the hill, which is a good. So I'm going to now the team have backed off enough around the corner, I'm going to push to see if I can take out this enemy Emil, who is on a two-shot to us. You know, we have a decent start to the game. You know, just shy of 2,000 damage, 2 kills. We get a nice, big high roll into the Emil there, putting him onto a definite one shot, and he gets taken out from our Action X on our hill. And now we're going to push to see if we can get any more shots into these tanks. We've got a wreck which we could actually hide behind here. We get a nice shot again into that G-saw, leaving him onto a one shot for our final shell. And then we're going to go onto a reload and then potentially push forward a little bit here. We're going to actually push, because our team are pushing up, and we're going to just make the push while we're on reload. So the time we get there, we hopefully should have a clip ready to fire and see if we can take out this enemy Viper in front of us. Now, this enemy Viper is a good opportunity to show you where you actually do need to pen this tank on the lower plate, because you do have to aim quite low in order to pen it. Because he's hold down to our team there, but we're hoping with our 10 degrees gun depression we should be able to lean on top of him and get the shots. And you see here, you need to actually aim right at the very bottom of the lower plate, the lower part, because if you aim too high it will actually bounce. It's a bit trolly like that, but if you're aiming lower like this, you can go straight through the lower plate. because the actual very, very lower part's actually only like 20 mil of armour, so you can pen that tiny bit, and that is the weak point. G-Saw's turned for us though, so we need to be aware of that. He's now, I suspect, dumped his clip, and we're going to go for the finish here. So we're aiming for the finish, and unfortunately the shell just derps and doesn't go where we aim, but it's not to worry, he gets taken out anyway by a friendly team. The equaliser is shooting us, he's using the barrage gun. He's on reload now. We'll have a very quick reload, but we need to get out of it. We can't really stay this position. I want to try and get up and towards the ridge, so I'm underneath the ridge, so the front police can no longer shoot at us. Because we're having a decent game. You know, we've got 3,600 odd damage, but there's still 8 tanks in the game, so there's still a lot of potential for us to have a big game so far. We just need to try and get over there. Now, that Jag Tiger is a target. I'm thinking he's full health. If I can just get a full clip in him, I could really boost my damage. So I'm trying to get up as close as I can. Fortunately, all the tanks with me are sort of slower, heavy tanks, so I'm sort of keeping up with the pace, if you like, and I'm sort of ahead of the team, which is nice, because then I'm going to get hopefully first dibs at trying to get some shots into this tank. And we are starting to outnumber the enemy team. I just want to maximise this game as much as we possibly can. So we're pushing around and just trying to find this shot. The Jag Tiger's come around, we aim for that shot. We kind of waste a shell there. We should have waited, because we could have just shot now and penned and probably tracked him in place. But he's turning for us. We get one shot into the lower plate. We're going to try and get to this rock so we can side scrape off and protect our lower plate from the engagement, and just try and get some shots into lower plate this tank. So we get 2 shots in. We should be able to squeeze another one. The tank behind us is side scraping off of us, hiding this lower plate, which is fine. And we managed to take out that Jag Tiger, which allows us then to move on, put us onto just under 5,000 damage. I went on a reload when now thinking, oh, I could have actually waited just a couple of seconds. I could have shot that equaliser there. And now I'm just going to try and push to get close. Really hoping he doesn't shotgun me, and hoping that there's a tanks behind me is enough of a deterrent for us to get close. And then if this enemy friendly heavy tank distracts him, then I should be able to poke around and dump my clip in. And in the time I get there, because I say you have a 30-second reload, but the time I've got there to where I wanted to be anyway, I'm reloaded, so it didn't really feel like I was out of the game for about reloading that long. Equaliser shot, get a massive high roll there, and we are going to be able to finish off this tank. We get 1 shot in, and we do manage to pick up the kill, putting us on to just over 5,000 damage with 4 kills and 3 enemy tanks remaining. And at this point we have no idea their hit points, but I don't think our friendly team's really been over this side yet, so there's a good chance that they could be full health. And if I could just get another clip in, then it's going to be brilliant, because I could actually really, you know, you've got 2,000 clip potential. I've only got 3 shots loaded at the moment, but if I can just find something just to get some shots in quick. Enemy medium tank gets spotted. You'll see the big aim time here. We don't let that fully aim, but thankfully it goes true anyway, and we should just be able to finish off this tank if possible, and we do, picking up our 5th kill with only 1 tank remaining, and it's this Action X. So we're going to dump our full clip. I mean, we know where this tank is. We're just trying to work out is whether we are going to get there in time to get the clip in, because my gut feeling is unless this tank's been shot at by the fun police, it's probably full health, and you know, I could really just boost my damage here, and it is full health, so I'm just hoping that I can get there. He does get shot there, but he is semi-safe behind that rock, so if I can get there first, I'm going to be able to dump my clip in. I can just eat shots off of this tank. You know, it doesn't matter. I've got enough hit points to do it. So I'm side on here. He can pen us, but it doesn't matter. I just want to get my shots in. We get one in. We track him in place. We're just going to see if we can get another shot in here. Try and get one in. We do get one in. We set him on fire. We're hoping we're going to get the finish, but he just gets killed by our friendly tank before we can get the kill. But we do end up with a whopping game in the end there. So let's just get to the scoreboards and see how we did for the final replay. We get 5 kills, just over 7,000 damage and 200 assistance, 2,500 blocks. Now, this is only the first class, even though it's a 2,400 base XP, which is normally enough for an ace in any tank, but it's just kind of set unrealistically high at the moment. In a week's time, this will be an ace, no problem. But it's just obviously what you get for playing it straight away. But you can see it is a really big game there. And that is the vibe. I mean, do I think it's worth it? I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I don't think it's a tank which is completely broken, if I'm honest. I think it's got its It's got really decent armour, but then it's quite slow. You know, if tanks get behind you, you don't have a full turret, so they can flank you, and then they can start taking care of you. So, but on the other hand, you know, when you are hull down, you can see you can get a really good, you know, game out of it. So for me, I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, I like it. So it's kind of one of those situations, if you like playing those sort of tank destroyers, go for it. But yeah, it's up to you. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for your support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!